An investigation has been launched in New Zealand into the tourist deaths from the volcanic eruption on White Island. A sixth fatality has been confirmed tonight, and they died of their injuries. Another 8 people are missing and feared dead. 31 are in hospital. Authorities believe there are no survivors left on the island, and it's also been revealed the threat level at the volcano was raised just a week before the disaster. And this has prompted questions about whether tour groups should have been allowed to visit.
Families of those caught up in the eruption on White Island are anxiously awaiting news of their loved ones. The police in New Zealand say that the conditions are still too dangerous for the resumption of recovery efforts. Scientists warn of a 50% chance of another eruption within 24 hours.
We're just staying strong for one another until we actually know for sure. Like they have said that those who are on the island, there's no survivors. We are scared and we are emotional, and some of us do want to fall apart, but it's not really an option.
There were 47 people on the island when the volcanic blast occurred. Tourists from the UK, the US, Germany, Australia, China and Malaysia were on a day tour from a cruise ship in a nearby port. Dozens with severe injuries were airlifted to the hospital burn units across New Zealand, and the authorities say that nearly 30 of them had burns to more than 70% of their bodies. White Island, also known by its Maori name, fatality, is the tip of an undersea volcano, some 50 kilometers off the mainland. It is a privately owned island which runs daily tours. More than 10,000 people are drawn to the site annually. But the scientists had noted an uptick in volcanic activity in recent weeks. Many now are asking why the tourists were still allowed to visit despite the known dangers. The police say they're opening an investigation into the circumstances of these deaths and injuries, but they've stopped short of suggesting this might lead to criminal charges.
Although there can be signs of impending volcanic activity, scientists admit it's notoriously difficult to predict when an eruption will happen.
There are some volcanic eruptions, and the particular type that occurred yesterday, which are extremely unpredictable because there are so few, if any, precursor signs. And that type of explosive eruption that occurred yesterday is called the hydrothermal explosion. It basically develops when the batch of molten rock or lava or magma, as we call it, that is beneath the volcano edifice begins to release a lot of volcanic gas, but particularly in the case of White Island, it is a marine volcano. So a lot of seawater is actually seeping into the edifice below sea level along cracks and fractures, and that seawater is then being superheated to temperatures of hundreds of degrees, and of course it is under considerable pressure at those depths. That pressure level increases when some of those fractures and cracks become clogged with rock debris and also new minerals that precipitate in the fractures. It's building up the pressure to a level that it has to be released through explosive energy release. And that occurred yesterday at White Island with no precursor signs as far as I'm aware.